Well, hello and welcome everyone to the New Health Conversation. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I'm the author of this book. It's really me, not AI. It's not a recording, it's live. So the book is called Why Diets Are Failing Us. And in the book, we really lay out for you the real reasons that 80% of Americans are overweight, 50% are obese, and 50% of Americans are pre-diabetic. Nothing we're giving you is based on an opinion. Okay, we base everything that we're talking about on all of these. I don't know if you can see them. These are all peer-reviewed human trial studies, both on traditional diets and also on this new revolutionary approach, which essentially we write about in the book. And the main concept behind it is stop counting calories, make every calorie count. We're backed up now by some of the biggest New England Journal of Medicine, the Journal of the American Medical Association, where they're coming forward and saying, you know, we were wrong. What we were telling people about the best way to lose weight by lowering calories was wrong. So again, this is what we're talking about, Why Diets Are Failing Us, and my best-selling book, Why Diets Are Failing Us. Now, I'm live. This is not Memorex. This is really me, etc. So you will have a chance to comment if you want as we move forward. The main thing, I'm hoping that all of you can hear me. Is there anyone on here? I tested it before and it seemed like it was working fine. So I'm going to put this, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please put in the chat if you can hear me. I'm hoping that you can hear me. So let me see, is the desktop audio not working? Can all of you hear me now? Can anybody indicate if you're able to hear me? Live chat has pop in, okay. I'm really curious to see if anybody can actually hear me. Hello, can anybody just put it in the chat if you can hear me? Michelle Smith, can you just type maybe, can you hear me? People, are you able to hear me, anybody? Hello, my name is Peter Greenlaw. I'm the author of Why Diets Are Failing Us. I'm just curious if anyone can hear me. Is anyone able to hear me? Hello, hello. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh, good. Okay, Michelle, thank you very much. Loud and clear. I'm sorry. I was hesitating. All right, well, everyone, my name is Peter Greenlaw. I'm the author of 4 best-selling books. This was the first big one that I wrote called Why Diets Are Failing Us. And really what we're doing, or what we want to do for all of you, is to make you aware of the real medical science, the real medical evidence behind diets. Okay, we're going to, in this podcast today, that's what we're going to cover. So it's really important that you have an opportunity to at least have an option. Because right now, I believe that if you're not on this podcast, that pretty much every of the influencers out there is telling you the only way to lose weight is to lower calories. Well, we're going to really sort of dissect that today. One of the biggest challenges that's out there is the fact, let's just start with the basics. By the way, this is the New Health Conversation podcast. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a nutritional researcher for 21 years. I'm the author of 4 best-selling books. This is not recorded. This is live. I'm really here, so I will answer questions as we go along, because I'm sure you're going to have a lot of them. But anyway, the main thing we're talking about is this right here, Why Diets Are Failing Us. It's one of my first of 4 best-selling books, and it was pretty controversial at the time. It may be controversial for many of you on this podcast today. Here's the basis behind it. The fact that the human body doesn't know what a calorie is, the fact that a human body doesn't count calories, I would have to ask the question, why are we counting calories? So one of the premises we wrote about in the book was, instead of counting calories, we need to make every calorie count. Now we've been backed up by Harvard Medical School, by the New England Journal of Medicine, by Journal of the American Medical Association, where they've come out and really tested diets where they all the major diets they've tested, from paleo to keto to Mediterranean, you name it. Again, we talk about it in the book. Keep in mind, I'm not making any claims. This is my book. This is my research. It's all original content, etc. You probably are not aware of this, right? So the bottom line is this, that if we just talked about calories as a way to lose weight, it'd be pretty simple. It'd be a mathematical formula, right? So what happens is, yes, Yes, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, that deals with, well, shameless plug for me, everyone. This is my second book, which is a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office called the TDOS syndrome. This is something we all should really, really pay attention to. So T stands for toxicity, the D stands for nutritional deficiency, the O stands for being overweight, and the S is for stress. And every living, breathing person in the world, including on this podcast, you have TDOS syndrome, whether you know it or not, as we're breathing and drinking. Remember, I'm the author, I'm the researcher. I did the research, and this is a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office, so it's not somebody's opinion, right? So as we ingest these chemicals in water, air, and food, fruits, vegetables, whatever, the body only has one choice. It takes the chemicals and stuffs it inside our fat cells. That's why you end up with all that belly fat around your middle, that no matter what you do, even when you get in really good shape, you're down to that last 5 or 6 pounds, and no matter what you do, you can't lose any weight anymore, right? Well, the good news is that in this book, Why Diets Are Failing Us, and by the way, no one has to buy my books. Here's what's great. I believe so much in this cause, because I've been doing it for 21 years and have written these 4 books, all with major medical doctors. And we all also have the same attitude. We want to alert as many people as possible to the real truth behind diets, health, energy, sleeping better at night, lowering stress, etc. You're not going to hear this in the mainstream press. You're not going to see it out there from other, and I don't mean to disparage anybody, but the reality is this. We have 80% of America overweight. We have 50% obese. 50% of Americans are pre-diabetic. Does anyone really believe or think that diets are... let me ask you a question. And you don't have to answer, of course. But whatever you're doing now as far as diet or weight, do you really believe in your heart that 6 or 8 months from now you're going to weigh less than you are now? Or are you doing it... See, diets are always about a destination. It's like, oh, I got a wedding to go to in 2 months. I want to lose weight. Oh, it's summertime. Oh, it's wintertime, or whatever it might be. I want to get in shape for fall. It doesn't matter. But the problem with that is life is not a destination. It's a journey. And that's the way we should be living our lives. The main reason to do this is not to lose weight. The main reason to do this is to maximize your quality of life potential. Now, the good news is that we talked about in Why Diets Are Failing Us, how one of the biggest contributing factors to us gaining weight was the storage of these chemicals inside of our fat cells. And we wrote about it in the book. And one of the things, listen to this, this is from the book. So again, it's my original content. So I'm not making up things, right? So slimming systems being poisoned by toxic chemicals, creating difficulty to control weight. Listen to this. Dr. Paula Bailey Hamilton, I'm reading from the book, is a medical doctor and visiting fellow in occupational environmental health at Stirling University in Scotland. She's also considered to be one of the world's leading authorities on toxic chemicals and their effects on your health. She believes that what appears to be happening is that our natural slimming system is being poisoned by toxic chemicals we're encountering in our everyday lives, and this damage is making it increasingly difficult for our bodies to control their weight. The end result is that we gain weight in the form of fat and not muscle, as chemicals tend to cause muscles to shrink and body fat to accumulate. Bailey Hamilton, 2005. This is not my opinion. One of the things we're the most proud about in the book, in the research, and by the way, free research site to go to. It's called The New Health Conversation. I'm going to type it in the chat for you. I'm going to come back to my book here in just a moment. Let me put this in here. You can go there. It's free to go there. There's nothing for you to buy. There's no celebrity endorsements. There's only the medical evidence. There's even an interview with the #1, you can see it there, the #1 nutritional researcher in the world for more than 30 years. But she's one of the and then another really interesting concept we talked about in the book. This is from another book. Michael Pollan, author of The Omnivore's Dilemma and In Defense of Food, said it best when he pointed out that you're not only what you eat, but you are what it eats too. If our beef is loaded with hormones that are designed to cause artificial weight gain, and we eat said beef, would it be likely to gain unnatural amounts of weight too? There must be a direct correlation between our weight gain and the synthetic hormones pumped into our food supplies. We may never turn into a hot dog, but we may share the extra side of fat in the ribeye. So, do you see what's going on? We're like, now the experts are coming out and they're saying that so much of what we thought and what we believed. So now there's other factors. It's not just fast food. It's not just that we're not exercising enough. Yeah, those play a role. But when you're talking about what she's saying, that what appears to be happening is that our natural slimming system is being poisoned by toxic chemicals we encounter in our everyday lives, and this damage is making it increasingly difficult for our bodies to control their weight. What are you doing about that? Because that's not paleo, keto, Mediterranean. What's so great about what happened when we first started this book back, there'd been, I don't know, there've been a lot of studies proving we're storing chemicals in our body. Now it's everywhere. And what happened is when I discovered the TDOS syndrome, which is a medical syndrome, registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office, I discovered it. I'm the author, right? It was really apparent that with out of our control, we were storing all these chemicals inside of our bodies. And it was a major contributing factor to why 80% of Americans are overweight and 50% are obese and 50% are pre-diabetic. I mean, you got world experts telling you that what appears to be happening is that our natural slimming system is being poisoned by toxic chemicals. Maybe you should pay attention. Well, the good news is in these seven new peer-reviewed human trial studies, which are here, along with studies looking at conventional diets, the great news was that in these new studies, one of the things they proved through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis was that this protocol that we talked about in why diets are failing us in my book. By the way, this is live. This is not a recording. I'm actually the author of Why Diets Are Failing Us, and you're welcome. You can ask me any questions at any point in time. So, the big question we normally get is, what did the people do? Because we talk about it in the book, okay, that in the studies, men and women weren't even allowed to exercise because the researchers didn't want them to exercise. And yet, listen to this. Men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. They ended up losing weight in 30 days. It took 12 months on any diet. And instead of losing lean muscle mass, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass while lowering visceral fat, that's the belly fat, by 33% in 8 weeks. I know it's like science fiction. I know some of you are so skeptical, you're afraid to even keep listening. But we're on your side. We're researchers. I'm called the researcher of the researchers. That's a great title. It's not my research, but we're bringing it together in the 4 best-selling books that we wrote. And when I say we, I wrote them with my oldest son, but more importantly, with medical doctors, MDs, that completely agreed with our theories became real. I mean, you can do any diet that you want, and it's interesting that there's so much pushback because there's so much energy that's been put into convincing us that the only way to lose weight is to count calories, lower calories. But there's a huge problem with that. According to all the research, that when you lower calories, here's what happens. You're lowering nutrition. That's why we said it's not about counting the calories, it's make every calorie count. So when people would go on a diet, and the researchers in these big medical studies that I have right here, people always lost weight on a diet. Didn't matter. Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, fasting, time-restricted eating, paleo, all the diets, right? They always lost weight. But the research is really frustrated because every time from 25 to 40% of what they were losing was lean muscle mass. And when the people came off those diets, they gained all their weight back every time. Not 1 out of 10, I mean every time. So when they went down the path of, really looking at, they were searching why diets are failing us, and they found out why. Because the main thing that was happening is they were lowering the amount of food called calories that people were ingesting. The body reacted by going in starvation mode. And in starvation mode, you can't burn. You can't burn fat. I don't care what you think. No, you can't. And we, again, in Why Diets Are Failing Us, we wrote about the fact that as you reduce the amount of nutrition in your body reacts by slowing down your metabolism because it's utilizing your own muscles for fuel, not carbs, not fats, but your own muscles. Well, that's so inefficient. The body doesn't have a choice. It has to slow down your metabolism. You slow down your metabolism, you gain everything back. I know you've seen it. You've probably experienced it yourself. I realize that everybody coming on this live right now, by the way, the live, I'm the real author. This is really me. I'm not AI. This is not a recording. I'm live. I wrote this along with 4 other best-selling books. And the reason that we like TikTok so much now, I'm fairly new to it as far as doing podcasts on here, is because it gives us an opportunity, one to many. Our only job, we're not trying to convince people. We're not trying to sell people. As a matter of fact, you don't have to buy our books. But if you go to our free research site called The New Health Conversation, I'll put it up there again for some of the new people coming on. I know you think it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. It's The New Health Conversation. You can go there. It's totally free. There's no celebrity endorsements. There's the scientific proof. There are before and afters that I couldn't show you on TikTok or they'd ban me because they're so unbelievably dramatic. Everything we talk about, everything we wrote about in all 4 of our books is all backed by medical peer-reviewed human trial studies. I mean, ask yourself something. If any of these protocols that these other influencers are telling you about, if any of them worked, you want to have what's called a peer-reviewed human trial study because you can't go higher in medical research than a peer-reviewed human trial study. And I know you thought this is crazy, but people doing this protocol, which is called R2M, which stands for race to maintenance, by the way, that we wrote about in the book. It wasn't called, we changed the name later because it became more appropriate, because we didn't want to be a one-hit wonder like a diet where you lost the weight. No, the idea was, for example, in my case, I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago. I've kept it off for 21 years. That sounds pretty good to most of you. Is that 4? Says it's too low, below. Oh, that's wonderful. That's pretty amazing. That's really good, actually. Huh. So I'm glad you did follow my recommendations. That's a wonderful thing to hear. Yeah, so that's pretty darn good. That means you really have turned things around significantly. So anyway, let me just keep going if I may. But again, everyone, our job here is to give you an option. Our job is not to convince you, not to sell you. One of the things we're the most proud of is, number one, you don't have to spend any money to buy our books. What we've done is we've consolidated, not us, but the medical research which is on the New Health Conversation site. It's a site. It's free. There's no obligation to go there. But if you do go there and you like what you see, we'll sign up. No, we won't. You can sign up. You can sign up if you want to for a free consultation. And I mean free. There's no gimmicks. There's no tricks, etc. It's based on you looking at the scientific evidence. If you're curious and want to know more, then we'll do a free consultation. Because honestly, we don't know. What if you want to gain weight? What if you want to lose weight? If you have any medical challenges? There's so many variables that go into our health these days that. And we're not treating, diagnosing, making any medical claims, or curing any diseases. Of course not. But obviously, we know that if 80% of Americans are overweight, there are a lot of people that would like to have a safe way to lose, but more importantly, keep the weight off. That's why it's called R2M, race to maintenance. So for many of you, I think it's a question that you come on these and you see these, and there's some really nice people, a lot of personable, fitness trainers, girls making, recipes in their kitchen and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, at the end of the day, does any of it actually work? Isn't that the only thing that should matter to any of you? Does it actually work? And as we write about in the book, or books, there's 4 different books, right? Men and women, literally, we have an expression, just give us 4 days. We read about it in the book. Because honestly, most men and women will lose as much weight in 4 days as in at least a month of dieting. Most women lose a whole dress size in the first week. Right in the book. There's before and after pictures in here that I can't show you because I'd be in trouble. I literally would be, in trouble on TikTok. But you can go to the website and see them. And that is really a research site. There's nothing to buy there. There's nothing to do there. It's all just the medical evidence that you can see and you can go for it if you want. So again, I'm going to put the website up here again. It's called The New Health Conversation. And I think, yeah, I spelled it right even. Okay. Yeah, the new health conversation. If you like what you see, you can sign up for a free consultation. Now, do any of you have any questions for me? Are any of you curious? Or any of you would like to know more? But you can also go to the website, and there's tons of information there. But let me give you the general, what really the researchers did. First of all, for 38 years, they looked at every diet out there, so they knew that every diet they ever put anybody on, they lost weight and they gained it all back, or more. And they realized what was going on was when they put people on lowering calories to lose weight, what was happening was they were losing weight. But then when they did the analysis, they realized that 25 to 40% of the weight they were losing was lean muscle mass. And when you lose lean muscle mass, then what you do, you're going to slow down your metabolism. And you slow down your metabolism, and you're going to you're going to gain all your weight back because you can't burn as many calories. It's that simple. It's not complicated. The truth of the matter is that when you lower calories, you're lowering nutrition. And because the body doesn't know what a calorie is, why are we counting them? The body does care about nutrition. So when you lower nutrition, what's going on? Your body has less fuel. So it goes and looks for the fuel and breaks your muscles down. But it's not only that the loss of lean muscle mass slows down your metabolism, the rate at which you burn calories when you're resting, believe it or not, it also impacts your own immune system. Those are two probably not really great things going on. So for the new people coming on, my name is Peter Greenlaw. I'm the actual author of this is the book we're talking about today, Why Diets Are Failing Us. I'll put it up on the screen for you, Why Diets Are Failing Us. And we're just discussing that if you look around at what's going on and you look at all the influences that are telling you well, they're all telling you the same thing, just a different day, time, name, whether it's paleo, keto, Mediterranean, a low carb, they're all lowering calories at the end of the day. But it just doesn't work. Now, the thing that we've done for you, you don't have to buy our books. We're so fair. We created a research site you can go to for free, or your friends, you can send them there. It's called The New Health Conversation. It's right up there. You can see it under Researcher of Researchers, which is a real title for myself. I'm totally in support of everybody that's skeptical because there really is a lot of noise out there, right? But I just come back to the practicality. If you've got 80% of America overweight and 50% are obese, how in the world would you think that what we're doing is working? I'm only laughing because it's like so overwhelming. And the problem is getting worse. In 2018 was bad enough. 42% of America was obese. 6 years later, 2024, it's 50%. That's a 24% increase in 6 years. So the tragedy is that if you're on a diet now, do you really think 6 months, 8 months, a year, you're going to weigh less than you do now? Because the problem with the diet is always a duration. Start, end. Oh, I've got a wedding to go to at the end of August. I want to fit in. I want to look good. I'm going to a class reunion in the fall. My daughter's getting married. My son's getting married. Whatever it might be. The problem is they're not sustainable, number one. And number two, even the more successful you are on the diet, honest to gosh, the worse off you are in the long run. Because if you're losing up to 40% of your lean muscle mass, according to the experts, to gain back 1 pound of lean muscle, it takes you 12 months. Even if you go to the gym and exercise. What are we doing to ourselves? Again, I come back to this. Why diets are failing? It's because they are. You can pretend they're not. You can listen to like I said, a lot of noise, a lot of chatter. But go to Walmart, go to Kmart, go to Target. It's really sad. People don't know what to do. So they do what everybody else is doing. What's everybody else doing? They're counting calories. If that worked, let me give you a simple example. See if this makes sense. We talk about it in the book. If it's just about lowering calories, okay? Did you know, for example, let me, this is crazy. We wrote about the similarities in diets from hundreds of years ago until now are striking. Very little has changed. Okay, so they've been counting calories for a long, long time. But who's not counting calories is your body. Your body doesn't know what a calorie is. Why are we counting calories? The only thing the body cares about is what's inside the calorie. We wrote about it in the book. We talked about stop counting calories and make every calorie count. Because the only thing the body runs on is nutrition. So if nutrition is the key and you're lowering your food intake, they call it calories, but it's really food intake. What else are you lowering? Your nutrition. Well, the body freaks out, goes in starvation mode, and goes looking for the nutrition. And where does it find it? In our organs, brain, kidney, liver, heart. And fortunately, it starts with our muscles. Breaks our muscles down, converting them into carbohydrates for fuel. But that's so inefficient. Then what does the body have to do? It goes, wait a minute, we don't have enough fuel. We got to turn down the metabolism. It's exactly what's happening to you. So that's why you plateau on the diet, or you come off the diet and you gain everything back. I was watching this really nice young woman. I've been following her for a few months. She lost like 60 pounds last year. Well, over the last 3 months, she's lost or gained about a pound. And she was just on last week saying, the only way to lose calories, it's a mathematical formula, lower calories. I just wish that I could just talk to her and just say, let me give you the example. If calories were the only thing that mattered to lose weight, then we could settle on an amount of calories. Let's say 1,500 calories, okay? Behind door number 1 is a diet, 1,500 calories, lean, chicken, fish, whatever, okay? Behind door number 2 is a diet of 1,500 calories, 3 bags of M&Ms. Look, for the new people coming on, I'm the author. It's actually me. Why Diets Are Failures. I wrote this book. This is all my original research after 21 years. As a matter of fact, I've written 4 best-selling books, all with medical doctors. And what's now becoming apparent, which is amazing, is that now this is just some. I brought some just to I don't know if you can see it. These are all folders full of medical trials where they're now saying that the leading researchers in diet and nutrition are saying we were wrong because we ignored the most important thing. It wasn't about the food consumption. It was about the nutritional consumption. And when you drop nutritional consumption, the body slows your metabolism down. That's why you gain everything back. Go on any diet you want. There's plenty of researchers. Plenty of influencers. But I always say, with all due respect, if what they were doing was so great, they'd want to have what are called peer-reviewed human trial studies. Well, now, years later, after I wrote this book, there's now 7, and it came out in the last year, 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies on a non-diet. It has nothing to do with counting calories. The breakthrough was so incredible, the researchers are stunned. After 38 years of looking at every diet, what did they find? Men and women lost as much weight in a week as 8 weeks of any diet. They lost as much weight in a month as a year on any diet. You can go on any live, you can go on any podcast, you can go on any influencer you want. They're all going to tell you the same thing. It's just a different name. So whether it's time-restricted eating, you don't eat for 16 hours and you eat for 8. But what's the medical proof behind that? The medical proof is this, that the New England Journal of Medicine did a 12-month study on calorie reduction, one group of people, and time-restricted eating the other. We talk about it in the book, right? In the group that lowered calories in 12 months, their weight loss after 12 months was 16 pounds. That's in a year. And then the people on the time-restricted eating in a year was 12.6 pounds. But they said right in the study that both the time-restricted eating and calorie-restricted diet groups lost lean muscle mass. There's your Achilles heel to every diet. I don't care what the name is. Lose weight for your blood type, the Cornish diet, the fast, it doesn't matter. These are facts, proven, medical facts. Now, if you want to have a different set of facts, you certainly are entitled to that. If you want to believe those influencers telling you with all good intent, the fitness trainers, the medical doctors, the chiropractors, the dietitians, the nutritionists, but we're on the Titanic and the thing's sinking. You can't sustain 50% of this country being pre-diabetic. We already have shortages of insulins right now. So for the new people that are joining, this is what we've been talking about. And based on my best-selling book, it's really me. I'm the author, Peter Greenlaw. we're discussing what we discovered in the book. And at the time when we wrote the book, it's hard to believe 14 years ago, where we've done, I think, 1 or 2 updates to it. Now we're going to have to do another one because these new medical studies just came out within the last year, 7 of them, on an anti-diet. Nothing to do with counting calories, completely the opposite. It was the breakthrough that the researchers have looked for 38 years. I mean, and what do? You don't have to buy our books. No. We set up a free research site that you can go to. It's called The New Health Conversation. And you can go there at any point, at any time, and see all the medical proof. There's no celebrity endorsements there. There's no one going to talk to you. We're not going to contact you. We did this as a public service because we think, for once and all, let's take the hype. We need to take the hype out of it. If 80% of Americans are overweight, which they are, and 50% are obese, do you know 9 out of 10 Americans, according to the Center for Disease Control, are metabolically unhealthy with 3 of 5 factors: overweight, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. Again, and for the new people, I'm the author. It's live. It's not a recording. I'm actually here live. You can ask me any questions that you want. And I'm going to go over what was this breakthrough? What did they do? How did they do it? Just give me a minute, and I promise I'll do it. But for the new people, I want to put this in reference. We have an expression in the book we wrote about the fact, just give us 4 days. Because most men and women, honestly, will lose as much weight in 4 days as a month of any diet you've ever been on. And the research proved there was no water weight loss, and people lost, not only didn't they lose lean muscle, which was the case on every diet that's ever been studied. They gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass there it is. You can go to that. That's the research site, the New Health Conversation. And you'll see there, free consultation. Please don't, she put in the chat, how much is the free consultation? I know you think it's a gimmick. I know you think it's a trick. I know you think we're going to bait and switch you. We don't need to do that. There's, people coming on and they're jumping off. I get it. They're searching for, engine oil or whatever it might be. But this is totally about this topic. Why diets are failing us. The researchers are now saying around the world, there's a huge study out of the Lancet in England, the biggest medical journal in the world. They just said, it just came out in March of this year, 4 months ago. They said now 1 billion people worldwide are clinically obese. They went on to say, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition worldwide. What? Yeah. When we wrote this book, the original book, 14 years ago, everything we talked about in here has come true. Now, okay, so trained man, as far as the cost goes, and I'm not trying to be evasive, we don't know, do you want to lose weight? We have people that need to lose 150 pounds. We have people that want to gain 10 pounds. We have athletes, and I'm not trying to be evasive, but here, I'll make it easier for you. So trained man, essentially what you would do if you decided to do it, 40% of the food only 40% of the food that you, wow, see, they've been on it for 16 months, it's changed our lives. So trained man, 40% of the food, only 40% of the food you would typically buy at the grocery store, you'd still buy. The other 60% comes from these 5 foods around the world. Most people say if you looked at your food budget for a month, maybe this protocol would add, you'd spend maybe $100 more than, there's somebody saying it right there, trained man. See, these are people doing it. I'm just the scientist. I'm just the researcher. I'm just the author for all of you who wrote this, one of 4 best-selling books, all with medical doctors. We're not fooling around here. We're not trying to give you opinions. We're not trying to give you celebrity endorsement. Nothing wrong with that, Sounds great, athletes, whatever. But again, what I say to you is, this is free information. Before you jump into these supplements and things that you see on social media or on television, ask yourself a question. Do they have peer-reviewed human trial studies? Because if they don't, why don't they? Because when you have a peer-reviewed human trial study, you have to understand it's irrefutable, meaning it's already been reviewed. The world experts have looked at it. So nothing I'm giving is my opinion. In the book, which actually this first book took 10 years to write it, because the things were changing so rapidly. And that's just how long it took. I don't know, maybe I'm a slow writer. I wrote it with my oldest son, and he was very responsible for it, but with a very prominent medical doctor. And he keeps saying, look, we need to look into this, and we need to look into that. And it was things I never even thought. I just thought, well, we'll write this book and tell people, we'll give them some recipes to lose weight. That's not how it works. And the thing that I think is so exciting and so compelling and so interesting for all of you, if you want, is you can go and see the research for free. We provided a free resource for you. The new, and somebody typed it up there, or I'll type it up there, or they can type it up there again, the new health conversation, right? So it's the new health conversation. And you can go there at any point and see the research. It's free. There's no gimmick. If you go there, we're not going to contact you. I promise. All we'll do is, if you do go there, you can register for a free consultation. It's a free consultation. It's not a bait and switch. We're not there to convince you or sell you. We let the science do the talking, okay? And when I don't know if you've ever written a book, but it is, I've written 4 of them. Every time I get done, I say, wow, that was a lot harder than I thought it was. I'll just show you my other books. And no one has to buy them, okay? But you just might be interested from a background perspective. So this is my second book, The TDOS Syndrome, which is a registered trademark with the U.S. Patent Office, not a copyright. It's a medical condition up there with metabolic syndrome, syndrome X. And then we wrote the TDOS Solutions, because now you got TDOS, you need a solution. And then our 4th book called Your Third Brain, that's not a trick title, that's for real. So, I mean, the point is, you can be in a position, if you want, to have free access to the medical proof with no obligation. How much fairer can we be than that? But we know about the skepticism, because I have people all the time saying, how much is the free consultation? Or when they say, how much is it? Because again, obviously it's pretty evident that someone that needs to lose, 100 pounds or 80 pounds, is different than someone maybe who wants to gain weight. We have kids as young as 2 doing part of the protocol, and grandmas in their 90s doing it. I mean, it's just it's really rewarding when you get to see the kind of things that we get to see on a daily basis. And again, for the new people joining, this is what we've been talking about, why diets are failing us. And actually, I'm the actual author of the book, best-selling book called Why Diets Are Failing Us. It's not a recording. I'm actually here live, so you could ask me any questions you want. Okay, I'm going to do that, RK. Just give me 1 second, I promise. So RK, it's more than just the 60%, but I'll go over it with you, okay? So 40%, the researchers that we wrote about in the book developed a grocery list of fats, proteins, carbs, etc., okay? Got it right there. The other 5 foods came literally from all over the world. They came from Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Nepal, and the Himalayas, South America, and New Zealand, okay? But that wasn't the most important thing. So now you had 40% from the grocery store, these 5 foods from around the world. You're not going to go to your local grocery store and buy it. I'll give you an example. One of the things that the food in this country is lacking are what are called trace ionic minerals. Now, not iron, calcium, magnesium. You've all heard of those, right? They're missing things like gold and silver and zinc and beryllium and boron and molybdenum, essentially the periodic table, except for plutonium and uranium. You wouldn't want to be ingesting that. In the best organic, not my opinion, they've tested it, you get between 15 and 20 minerals out of 70. Well, the researchers, and we wrote about it in the book, they went and found a source with all 70 minerals. All 70, not 20. That was just one example. But there were other things, botanicals and various other things that were, it's not that we don't have the nutrients in our food anymore, it's that the amount has gone down drastically. So it's forcing us to do what? Eat more. Because the body doesn't care or know about a calorie. When you're hungry, you're not craving calories, believe it or not. You're craving nutrition. It's really that simple. And again, I'm repeating myself, we have an expression in the book, just give us 4 days. because most people will lose as much weight in 4 days as in a month of any diet. And in the longer studies they did, I mean, people lost as much weight in 30 days as a year on any diet, and they lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. Why? Because the whole protocol was not based on calories. The people in the studies we wrote about in the book, they consumed more calories than the people on the diets they were compared to. I know it's like science fiction. It's like, no, this can't be true. Well, we're providing you a free medical research site. It's written in layman's terms. You don't have to be a researcher to understand it. But the more important point is there's an interview with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world. Not some influencer, not somebody giving you an opinion. And he and his scientists, they're the top diet, nutritional, wellness researchers in the world for almost 40 years. They've worked with Green Berets and Navy SEALs and CrossFit people and Olympians and triathletes and you name it. I don't want you ever to believe me. I'm the researcher of the research. It says it up there, researcher of researchers. I've been blessed to work with some of the top medical doctors, oncologists, molecular biologists, geneticists in the whole world. So what we were able to bring and put in these books and work with some of these people that helped to write these books. We're not giving you opinions. We're not sharing I just wish that more people could understand that you'd be in a position to really, really make a difference for the rest of your life. Because the sad part is, if you're on a diet right now, do you really believe 6 months, 8 months, you're going to weigh less than you do now? I see people at the gym all the time. They're struggling, the treadmill and the Stairmaster, just to maintain whatever they've gained. Month after month after month, they don't lose anything. See, exercise, which is important for cardiovascular, but it's not a weight loss protocol. Hate to tell you that. I mean, if you're an athlete and you're training, that's a whole different ball game. But as far as using it as a strategy to lose weight, it's just not possible. The 5 foods, okay, RK. One, there are these specialized shakes, like no other shakes in the world, that come from New Zealand. It's an aloe vera that contains all 70 minerals. There's a bone broth that has 3 added amino acids to it. There's literally an electrolyte that has no sugar and no artificial sweeteners. And the creme de la creme is a ingredient that actually comes from Nepal in the Himalayas. Those are the 5. And together they would represent thousands and thousands of calories of food in a fraction of that. But it's more complex. It's not just that. It's when you would take it, how much you would take it, what are the sequences, because what they did, as I said, were 2 different ways of consuming those 5 foods. One is called protein pacing, completely different than like time-restricted eating or eat when you're hungry, okay? It was specific amounts, specific times, but in specific orders over about 12 or 14 hours over the course of a day. The other part, I'm happy to do it. The other part was that they also did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting. And the results are spectacular. But you know what? The most important reason to do this, because what we're talking about is why diets are failing us. It's not really a diet. The main reason to do, and we write about it in the book, and we write about it in the 3 other subsequent books, like these are the other books I've written, the TDOS Syndrome, TDOS Solutions, and Your Third Brain, is to assist our own body in removing the chemicals that we're storing inside of all of us. It's not up for debate. I mean, that's what's going on. So the weight loss is like kind of a throw-in. It's like, yeah, that's going to happen anyway. But also in 30 days, they saw blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all came down dramatically in 30 days, and inflammation came down by 41% in 30 days. No one's ever seen anything like this before. The main reason to do it is not to lose weight and fit in your skinny jeans. That's going to happen anyway. We laugh about that. But if you're really, really concerned about your health, isn't our health our wealth? I mean, there was an old expression that said that, people spend a lifetime making a fortune, and then they spend their fortune trying to get healthy. It's really sad, but that's kind of what's going on. I mean, I can really come to this from a place of Well, my mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy, and I loved her. She was awesome. But 23 years ago, before I became a researcher, and one of the reasons I became a researcher, she called me up one day and she said, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything to spend 24 hours thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's really cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mother did about every diet you could imagine and name. 23. She would cut diets out of the National Enquirer, out of Reader's Digest. She did the grapefruit diet, the cabbage soup diet. She went to Weight Watchers for years, et cetera, et cetera. I believe, I can't prove it, she dieted herself to death. And I became enraged. I said, something's terribly wrong. And that and some other things led me to become a researcher. Okay, so RK. It's not, see, here's the thing, RK. What I want you to understand, it's not just about what you're going to consume. It's complicated. And I'm not trying to be evasive, okay? You can do whatever you want to do. But the reason that we do a personal consultation with you is to show you you're not spending a penny. We show you exactly this is what you do, when you would consume it, etc. Because again, at this point, we don't know anything about you. Do you want to lose weight, gain weight? Do you have any medical challenges or issues? So, and oh, by the way, RK, this is another thing that's amazing. Number one, if you do decide to do it, you do get assigned for free an advisor. For free, no gimmicks, not somebody an 800 number. And secondly, the fulfillment companies who supplied the 5 foods to the researchers, they offer the first 30 days, nothing to do with me, 100% money back guarantee. RK, you have no risk at all. Your risk is you don't do it, and then you chase some, and I'm speculating. I don't even know if you want to lose weight, so don't take offense. I'm just guessing. But let's say you did want to lose weight. It depends how much, how fast. Do you have any medical challenges? Because that, someone who's a diabetic, that's going to be a different program than someone who has high blood pressure, for example. This is an example. So it's totally up to you. And I promise, if you go to that research site, look at all the proof, way beyond what I'm sharing with you here. If you like what you see, sign up. But I promise, they're not going to twist you. They're not going to try and convince you of anything. But you need to understand why this works so well, and you'll see the complication of it. But they even give you a virtual coaching system with videos. Plus, you have a live person that's going to be helping you. You know what the biggest challenge here is? This sounds too good to be true. Well, it's better than that. I mean, RK, I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago. I've kept it off for 21 years. Sounds good to me. But I had some real medical challenges, too. I'm not even going to go into those. Everything turned around for me in about 7 weeks. And, I've worked with, the biggest person I ever worked with weighed 587 pounds. I've worked with 2-year-old kids. I've worked with all kinds of athletes, pro athletes, baseball players, football players, you name it. It's not a diet. It's a healthy way of living the rest of our lives. It is a journey. It's not a destination. So I really encourage you. I hope you will go there. You have nothing to lose. That's not a pun, okay? So does anyone else have any questions for me? So again, for those who may not know, maybe you just came on, I'm the author of Why Diets Are Failing Us. This is not a recording. It's live. I'm here. Oh my gosh, yes. Please fill out the information. Again, I'll take a look at it right after I hang up from this, and absolutely, I'll make sure we'll move you to the top of the list. But put it in the subject line so I'll know, because I may not remember, because we're getting so many leads, so many people that want to do this. It's totally crazy, but we will. I promise. As soon as I'm going to finish here in just a couple minutes, I'll go to the site, and so if you go there right now and fill it out, I'll get to you immediately. So again, some of you are joining right now. What we're talking about is why diets are failing us. I'm the author of the book of that title called Why Diets Are Failing Us. It's really live. It's not a recording. I'm really here. We're just discussing the fact that 80% of Americans are overweight, 50% are obese, 50% of Americans are pre-diabetic, and yet we keep chasing rainbows, right? That the only way to lose weight is to lower calories. Well, unfortunately, that's been debunked. the number one enemy to gaining weight is something none of you probably even aware of, and that's this medical syndrome called TDOS, which I discovered it, stands for toxicity driven by nutritional deficiency, being overweight and stress. Every one of you, every person in the world has toxic chemicals stored inside their bodies. Now, I don't want you just to believe me. In our book, Why Diets Are Failing Us, I'm going to read to you from one of the top experts in the world. Dr. Paula Bailey Hamilton is a medical doctor and visiting fellow in occupational and environmental health at Stirling University in Scotland. She's also considered to be one of the world's leading authorities on toxic chemicals and their effects on our health. She believes that what appears to be happening is that our natural slimming system is being poisoned by toxic chemicals we encounter in our everyday lives, and this damage is making it increasingly difficult for our bodies to control their weight. The end result is that we gain weight in the form of fat and not muscle, as chemicals tend to cause muscles to shrink and body fat to accumulate. That's exactly what they're seeing in all the studies. People losing between 25 and 40% of their weight on any diet because the diet has no impact on these chemicals that we continue to store in our bodies. You can do any diet you want, but none, whether it's paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time restricted, they have nothing. In these 7 peer-reviewed studies that we've been talking about through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, guess what? They proved this was removing chemicals from the body. That's the main reason to do it. It's not to lose weight and fit in your skinny jeans. That's like a foregone conclusion that that's going to happen. I mean, the thing we're excited about is the fact that now, thanks to TikTok, we can reach many, many more people. We just have to be careful that, we don't, if we couldn't show you on TikTok the real, that's why that medical research site is so invaluable. There's no one there to talk to. We're not going to contact you. You get to see everything for free. But if you like what you see, you can sign up for a free consultation, which is free. And then we kind of go over what's going on with you. Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain weight? We don't know. I mean, your reasons could be completely different, no matter who you are. Would anybody else like to ask any questions, or do you want me to review one more time what they actually did in order to achieve? Now, these people who conducted the research are the number one scientists in the world for almost 40 years for diet and wellness research, period, not up for debate. So let's get that out of the way. They have looked at pretty much every kind of diet there was in nearly 40 years. And their conclusion always was their frustration that people, no matter what the diet was, there was some form of lowering calories, which caused the loss of lean muscle mass, and all the people gained all their weight back, or almost all their weight. But they certainly didn't end up with a long-term solution, okay? What they did was they realized that the biggest fallacy to diets was when you lowered the, call it calorie, call it food intake, you also lowered nutrition. It's a pretty simple concept, right? If the body only runs on nutrition, it doesn't run on calories. If we reduce the calories, which, you know what a calorie is? It's the amount of heat it takes to raise a gram of water, 1 degree Celsius, that's it. This is not a real thing. It's just a measurement. But let's use it because people are familiar with it. But really what it is the amount of food you're consuming is less. Well, wait a minute. If food contains nutrition and we're eating less food, are we getting less nutrition? Do you see what I'm saying? How easy it is? But what the body reacts to, when you lower that nutrition below a certain point, the body goes in starvation mode, which is what happens on these diets. Every one of them. The proof is that people, what's of the weight they're losing, 25 to 40% is lean muscle mass. Well, then the body, it doesn't have a choice. It's not like you get to choose. The body slows down your metabolism. But not just your metabolism, it's the rate at which you burn calories at rest. It's called your basal metabolic rate, BMR. That's all it means. But the other thing it does, it also inhibits your own immune system. So fitting in your skinny jeans has a lot more ramifications than just losing weight. Well, in the studies, they proved through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis that people, number one, were removing chemicals. They shrank belly fat by 33% in 8 weeks. No one was allowed to exercise. Men and women, nobody allowed to exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. They literally lost as much weight in a month as a year on any diet. I know it sounds crazy to you. Go to the medical site. See the proof. It's there. And the interview with the number one nutritional researcher in the world who said they will never recommend a traditional diet to any of their patients ever again. Those aren't my words. Those are his words. You can see it. It's right there in the interview that he did. So we're not making things up. We're not making claims. But we're sharing this, what I think is life-changing science with you. So at least you have an option or not. It's up to you. So, I'm doing as many of these podcasts, really, they're podcasts, are not infomercials, on a daily basis as I can, as long as my voice holds out, because there's so many people. I mean, if we did the math, 80% of 330 million, it's 250 million people that are overweight, and 50% of those people are obese. I mean, and what do we keep doing? It's the Hollywood diet. It's the South Beach diet. It's the North Beach diet. It's the grapefruit diet. It's whatever. But if we're honest with ourselves, if 80% of Americans are overweight, 50% are obese, 50% are pre-diabetic, and 9 out of 10 Americans, according to the CDC, are metabolically unhealthy, with high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, or being overweight. Well, the good news was in these studies in the first month, in 30 days, all 5 of those factors came down dramatically. No one's ever seen a result like that ever. And again, somebody put it up there for me. Schedule a free consultation. You can go to that medical website and see for yourself the new health conversation. It's a total resource for you. Nothing to buy, nobody to talk to. Only way we'll contact you is if you contact us. I think that's pretty fair. Or there's lots of influencers on social media, millions of followers telling you to do what? Keto diet, the paleo diet, Mediterranean diet, the time-restricted eating. Where's their medical proof? Or where's the proof they're removing toxins from the body? They don't have any. It's really exciting because of the fact that, I've only been doing it for 21 years, but I was with the researchers still am, who were pursuing this. And now they said, look, we found the silver bullet for weight loss, in their case, after almost 40 years. And they said, now we have the medical proof. You see, when you have peer-reviewed human trial studies, they're irrefutable, meaning they've been reviewed by the top medical or science researchers in the world in that particular field. That's why no drug ever gets approved without what? A peer-reviewed human trial study. You hear the term, we have a scientific paper. So? We have a clinical trial. So? Those are dress rehearsals. The end of the day, the thing that's the most important are peer-reviewed human trials. Not up for debate, not a discussion, etc. You have an incredible opportunity to literally change the trajectory, can change your journey into something amazing right now. Well, not right now, but pretty close to right now. I mean, there are people on here I know. I see people that, not because of me, but they've been able to really, really improve their lives in a fast and been able, but more importantly, to maintain it. There's no point in doing any of these things if you're losing the weight and you gain it all back. Who wants to do that? So I just would invite you, best word I can use, to go to the medical site, the New Health Conversation, see what's there. It's free. And if you like what you see, again, I know I'm repeating myself, you sign up for a free consultation. It's that simple. It's not complicated. So I guess nobody has any questions for me. So I would say that hopefully you could go to my TikTok site and like it, the New Health Conversation. And let's see if we can, how many people's lives we can impact today. I mean, even if it's not you, you must have friends that are either on a diet, thinking about a diet or something. But unfortunately, the long-term results are not too favorable, that in the long run, they're going to end up, as all the science points to, gaining back at least as much as they lost or more. We just run this terrible treadmill. So that's up to you. So one last time, you can go if you want to the new health conversation. You can sign up for a free consultation, and we'll go from there. So I hope all of you have a great rest of your day, wherever you are, or wherever you are, maybe you're in the world, and we'll go from there. So anyway, have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye-bye for now.